What's good? What's good? It's Big Nathan. You already know what time it is. I'm back on another episode of the Truth Car Podcast today. I can't lie, this has been a long time off, I know it's been 2 days, 3 days without a new podcast releasing for y'all, but I'm back, and that's all that matters. But anyways, on this episode of the Truth Car Podcast, you already know I'm gonna be talking about something that I consider to be a gem, as always. This topic today, we're gonna be talking about priorities. It's something a lot of people fear. A lot of people fear this word called priorities. A lot of people avoid this word called priorities. You always hear it all the time, I gotta keep my priorities in check. I gotta get my priorities in order. But it's something we have to talk about as a society. Before we even get into that, let's talk about something that's been happening recently. I've been seeing so many memes floating about this Shannon Sharpe situation where he gets out of car, his SUV. He gets out of his SUV and you have a bunch of trolls online trying to make fun about a grown man coming out of his own car because he has some leg hip problem. A lot of people making jokes about it, talking about, oh shit, he's coming out suspect. He's moving a little bit weird the way he came out of the vehicle. I just have to speak about this little situation. So honestly, anytime I see this situation online, bro, it pisses me the fuck off, bro. I'm going to say that again. It pisses me the fuck off. The fact that you got trolls online trying to make fun of a grown man that retired from the fucking NFL, probably played past a decade in the NFL. They don't do their research. These trolls online, they making fun of a grown man who's walking in pains of success. He made it to the NFL and he had a beautiful career out of it. Obviously, he has some hurt pains. You can see also Deion Sanders, he has some pains too in his legs and hips. But the fact you got trolls online trying to make memes and jokes and skits about a grown man coming out of an SUV because he's walking a little bit different than every single person. Now I got a problem with that. You trolls online that make memes about every single thing, you need to be held freaking accountable. It's not even a funny situation, bro. You don't know what pain that man has been through. You don't know how many surgeries, how many hip replacements he's probably been through. You don't know what type of surgery he's been through. So why make fun, why make jokes about him walking and limping in pain, getting out of an SUV? These trolls, we gotta watch out for you trolls online. You gotta be held accountable. I just felt like I had to bring that topic first, I had to speak on that little situation. I pay attention, I see everything. Even with these sunglasses, I see everything. I got X-ray vision. I'm gonna say that again, I got X-ray vision. And I know you feel what I'm saying. Alright. I just had to say that. Now we're gonna cool off. We're gonna cool off for a little minute, We gotta get back to our podcasts. I apologize. Actually, I don't apologize for digressing. that's definitely something I just had to, I had to get that off my chest, It's a little situation. But anyways, if you're a person online, don't be too quick to make memes about other people or try to troll when you don't know what they've been through. You don't know what type of surgery he's been through. That's possibly why he's walking like that out of the SUV. I mean, all right. Well, anyways, we got to talk about the main thing. We got to keep our priorities in check right now. Shit we talking about today is priorities. When you wake up every single morning, the first thing you do after praying to God and everything, after praying to God, taking a shower, brushing your teeth and everything, the first thing you want to do is know what your priorities for that day is, Even if it's giving yourself a list of what to do, you got to keep your priorities in check. You got to keep your priorities in place. I see a lot of people, they focused on the wrong things. I'm going to say that again. I see a lot of people, they're focused on the wrong things in this society. And we can't live in a society where we're focused on the wrong things. We're focused on the wrong things, and these wrong things have a term. I'm going to say that again. These wrong things, they have a term. And this is the term that I use for them. They are distractions. I'm going to say that again. They are distractions. All these distractions that you focus on is a waste of time. You gotta keep your priorities in place and in order. If you want to actually do something with your life, you gotta keep your priorities in order. I see a bunch of guys and ladies, scrolling on social media every single day, they doing nothing. You just sit down. You just sit down on your bed. You just sit down on your couch. You just sit down on your chair. The only thing you're doing is scrolling down a phone. You're scrolling down social media. Doing nothing. You're just scrolling mindlessly. I don't know if it's a thing about, I guess, the generation we're living in. But if we're just scrolling on our phones, we waste so much time. I'm going to say that again. We waste so much time. When are we actually going to think for once to say, I just wasted 8 hours in my day scrolling on social media for entertainment. And this ain't even entertainment. This is distractions. These are distractions. That's the word we got to use in place for entertainment. These are distractions from the main thing. You got to keep your priorities in check and in place. Or else you're going to end up like one of these trolls making fun of other people on the internet, Shit, I can't lie. I find that word to be so insultful, honestly. I don't know if insultful is a word, but I just made that up. Shit is a word. I'm gonna put that in the dictionary, For you to be a troll online, you gotta be a waste of time. You're just a waste of time, honestly. You're a waste of time if you don't keep your priorities in check, in place, That brings me back to another point I want to talk about, For guys who've watched, guys and girls, if you ever watch shows like, Snowfall, BMF, Power, Queen of the South, Money Heist, Ozarks, if you watch any of these Netflix shows, one thing we always notice about these people is that the main people in these shows, these Netflix shows or Hulu stars, whatever shows you want to call it, all these main characters and main people, the protagonists or whatever you want to call them, they always had their priorities in check. They were always, I call this having a sense of urgency. You know, I can't lie, in this society, like a lot of people, we don't have no sense of urgency about getting after it, getting after what we need to actually do. I'm going to say again, we have no sense of urgency on getting after what we need to actually do. And that comes in place with keeping your priorities in check. Once your priorities are in check and your priorities are in order, you have no time. You have no time for distractions. You have no time for wasted energy. You have no time for wasted soul ties. You have no time for trolls. You have no time for wasteful fucking trolls. I digress. It brings me back to what I'm repetitively going to say again. Having a sense of urgency, you know. The more, I can't lie, if we had a society where we had a lot more people who are urgent to, you know, do something that will actually benefit themselves and the people associated with them, we'll live in a better place, you know. But once you have a society with degenerative people that just troll online, you know, make memes all day, you know. I can't lie, shout out to the people making meme pages, you know. At least those people with meme pages, they making money. They doing something with their life. At least they probably having sponsorships and whatever, but for all these people that, you know, they're just trolls online, bro. Y'all are wasting time. All these main characters in all these shows, bro, they had a sense of urgency. They had a sense of urgency to actually get after what they're doing every single day. And that's what made the show entertaining, you know? What if we put their sense of urgency as an inspiration to our lives, you know? Each episode, day by one, they always had this sense of urgency. I digress, you know. All the trolls in the comments, you know, talking about a grown man walking in pains, bro. That's just something I'm not gonna, you know. That's just a little rant. How many of y'all watching right now have the ability to actually keep things private, you know? This is something that doesn't get talked about enough, you know? But you know, because I'm here today, I'm gonna say it wisely, clearly. You need to keep things private. It's not every single thing that you share to every single person. We live in a society today where a person will go to the store, a fast food chain restaurant, and the first thing they're gonna do is post a picture of their food they're eating with the location tagged to it and the person they're with doing that thing. I gotta ask certain people, like, why do you post? Why do you post your location, the place you're eating in, the food you're eating in, and the person you're with Like, why do you post it online immediately? I'm not even talking about people who post it like days later. I'm talking about the people that, they post on Snapchat their location. I digress with this one moment too. We got specific people on social media who share their locations to the whole world. To the whole world. There are people like that. But honestly, I blame these apps on social media like Snapchat who give people the ability to share their location. Just because I accepted your friend request doesn't mean you should share your location with me. Just because you have friends on social media doesn't mean you should share your location with them. That's how people get set up. That's how people get set up. That's how people get stalked. That's how people get kidnapped. We gotta move as a society and think. We do dumb shit. We do dumb shit. I don't even know who to blame, the users or the makers of these apps, bro. The makers of these apps, the creators of these apps. At least alert people that the location is being shared. I digress. I just want to talk about that little topic right there. But let's get back on track. A lot of people don't keep a lot of things private. Just think about it. Some people get in relationships and the first thing they do is post their boo on social media. They post their boo on social media and stories where lots of niggas, lots of girls are lurking on their stories. The moment you do so, you just have a bunch of people praying and hoping for the downfall of your relationship. Let's think about it for a moment. Y'all post locations and stories of places you're at a present moment in time. Do y'all even sit back and think for a minute, what if that person I crossed 2 weeks ago is stalking me and is waiting to find me in person? Well, y'all just make it easier on them, Y'all make it easier for people to just know where your spots are, so they can find you easily. And when they find you, don't blame them if you get stalked, kidnapped, or I don't know. Stop sharing your locations on social media sites. That's just the point I want to make. Stop sharing your locations on social media sites. This ties into another thing I want to say. Learn to keep things private. And this doesn't just apply to you. It applies to the people you associate with. Let's say you have a homie and y'all drive out to a restaurant again. I'm using a restaurant again as a tip of advice, and y'all driving off or whatever, and they bring their phone and they start recording y'all driving or you at the location of a place. That person that you hang around with becomes a liability to you. Because 9 times out of 10, whoever your friend is could be a friend with someone you don't mess with. These are things people don't talk about. But nigga, whoever you're friends with could potentially be friends with someone that you don't mess with. And they could be completely clueless about the whole situation. Mutual friends. Yes, that's what they're called. They're called mutual friends. You got to be careful about who... You got to be careful. You gotta be careful. You don't want a situation to pop out where your homie shares your location and puts you in a liability situation. Your homie, the people you're around with, they post your location, they post their location, but because they're associated with you, guess what? There are mutual friends that you don't know about that you probably had problems with in the past. They could catch your fucking location and come after you. We have to move smarter with certain things we do. Damn, we gotta cool off for a minute. This is a podcast, but I can't lie, this is turning into a rant. I have problems with a lot of people, but this turned into a rant. But still a nice, slow, chill podcast, the Truth Podcast, where you belong, I know you enjoy this podcast. Stay tuned. Stay tuned every single time for the Truth Podcast. That's the thing. I just gotta cool off for a little minute, Sometimes I gotta cool off, Another thing we gotta talk about, though. I'm sure I can't be the only one that sometimes feels this message. Have you ever felt like you're doing too much? No. On some real shit, like, have you ever been in the middle of something and you just be like, damn, I'm doing too much, actually. Like, to the point you start questioning yourself, like, damn, am I doing too much, I go to talk about this certain situation, Some of y'all have this hustler's mindset. Where you just want to get after it 24/7. No matter what you're doing, like, I can't lie, like, if you have that hustler mindset 24/7, like sometimes, like, that shit could be a detriment to your fucking health, It could be a detriment to your health and to the health of other people, I just feel like sometimes if you ever question yourself, like, you're doing too much, bro, like, nigga, just take a chill pill, relax, Take a chill pill, relax, and calm down, and just know you're doing too much sometimes. I'm going to speak on this. Some people do too much at their jobs. Some people do too much at their jobs to the point they're so loyal to a company that doesn't give a fuck about them. A lot of people are loyal to a company that doesn't care about them. They don't care about you. You want to be that employee of the month, yeah, yes sir. Some of these companies, they don't care about you. Sometimes if you feel like you're doing too much, like, don't feel bad if you have to, call in sick or take a little break, Don't do too much sometimes, Sometimes don't go past the mark. Once you go past the mark, that's when you're doing too much. That's just a statement I just gotta come in this podcast with, I just gotta come in this podcast with. If you ever feel like you're doing too much, like, there's no shame in just, taking a little break, Give yourself some, peace, time to, recover with certain things you're doing. It's very important. And people are not talking about, like, if you ever feel like you're doing too much and you start questioning yourself, you're doing too much, honestly, it means you're probably doing too much. But don't get it twisted, though. You should still be a hardworking person every single time. This ties me back to one statement I want to make though. Have y'all ever felt like staying out the way and staying in your crib sometimes? That shit will save your life. Staying out the way and staying in your crib sometimes is gonna save your life, you know? A lot of people, they're always out 24/7. You check on their stories, they're always out in the club, they're always out in the party, they're always out. Like, they can't stay inside, you know? They can't just, like, stay inside wherever they can't just stay inside to chill out for a little minute. That ties in back with what I'm saying. Sometimes sometimes relax. You don't have to be outside 24/7. You don't have to be outside your house 24/7. Sometimes it will save your life. It will save you from bullshit. It will save you from doing dumb shit. It save you from spending a lot of money outside. If you're always outside, guess what? If you're outside, you're 9 times out of 10 spending money doing something. You either spending money on gas, on food, shit, maybe a parking ticket. Sometimes y'all are always outside. Staying inside could actually save your life. Staying inside and just, putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't care if your homie hits you up. Hey, bro, you gotta come to the party. You gotta come to the club. Oh, the chicks are lit here. Whatever the case is. How about you just take a chill pill for once and just relax? There's nothing wrong with just staying indoors. There's nothing wrong with staying indoors. Shit, for you trolls that may say, oh, shit, I'm outside. Shit, I'm outside because this is the Truth Podcast. The Truth Car Podcast. It's a podcast in the car. But yeah, staying indoors, it's going to save your life. There's nothing priceless. Shit, I like being at home. I don't like being bothered. I like being at home. I like just chilling, having a good time. I've heard of so many stories. Where a guy was just chilling at home. He didn't want to be bothered by no one, and all of a sudden, his friends, they called him out and said, "Yo, you trying to pull up? You trying to get something to eat? You trying to go to the club?" And when they went to the club, they got shot. They got shot in the club. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with staying indoors and staying out the way and staying in your lane. I'm going to say that again. There's nothing wrong with staying out the way and staying in your lane. That's bars right there. Staying inside will save your life out of bullshit situations. And it comes in terms with a lot of gut feelings that actually happen. Sometimes your homie is going to hit you up and say, yo, let's go to the club. Don't feel wrong. Don't feel bad if you have to cancel on that homie if you get a gut feeling. We call it gut feeling, but that's just God talking to us to say, calm down, stay indoors. You don't have to go out. I've heard so many situations of people having the gut feeling and they went outside and they went to the club, they went to the party, and guess what? That party got shut up at. Don't feel like you're lame because you choose to stay indoors. Staying indoors is going to save your life sometimes. Back to my main point. I know I just talked about staying indoors is going to save your life. But honestly, there's a little take too, we do need a little bit of balance too. We do need a little bit of balance too. Because I know there's a society of people who just stay indoors 24/7. I'm going to say it again. I know there's a society of people that stay indoors 24/7. They just want to stay indoors in their cozy bed and they never want to get out the crib, you know. That too is dangerous. I can't lie. Like, if you staying indoors 24/7 like a vampire or whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, bro, I can't lie. That's crazy. I'm going to say that again. I can't lie. That's crazy. You can't stay indoors 24/7. Sometimes you got to come out, get you some vitamin D. Pause. I say that again. Vitamin D. I'm talking about the sun. I'm talking about the sun. All you trolls. I'm talking about the sun. I'm just going to say that because I know someone's going to crop this freaking part out. Someone's going to crop this part out and try troll or something. I'm talking about the sun. Yeah, you gotta step out from indoors and, you know, you gotta get this sun. You gotta get sunlight still, you know. You don't want to stay indoors 24/7 like a bunch of people, you know. But 9 times out of 10, you still need a balance, you know. You still need a balance. Yo. Sometimes I just need to cool off, honestly. When I cool off, I have all the time to, you know, stay focused. We back on this podcast, you know. The Truth Call Podcast, the only podcast where you stay long enough to actually know what the fuck I'm talking about. Let's talk about time. I can't lie, time is an essential piece that we have to consider if we want to actually achieve certain things we want to do. Time is important. And I'm not talking about time. I'm not talking about THYME, the time you put in your food. Because I know I still have some foodies watching this. I'm talking about time. Time is important. There is a time for everything. There's a time for everything. That's what I'm talking about time right now. Time ties in back to what I'm saying, you know, about, yeah, there's a time to stay indoors. There's a time to come outside. There's a time to stay indoors. There's a time to you know, pull up, have a good time, you know. But time is very much important. Time is the one thing that once you spend it, you can't get it back. You can't get it back, you know. There's a lot of good memories cherished in time, but, like, you know, there's certain time that you can't just get back. And I know I talked about this in my previous podcast. There's no such thing as time machines. Yeah, I'm gonna say that again. There's no such things as time machines. You know, you can't go back in the past. You know, there's a time for everything. There's a time to do things the right way. You know. Time is important. Always make sure you actually, you know, like, make sure you're actually making use of your time wisely, because, you know, time is not something that's it's gonna be forever. You know, it's time and it's eternity. You know, but it's time. Time is a limited amount. You know, it's a limited amount. If you feel like you're ever in a situation that, you know, you feel like you're wasting time, get out that situation and do what you know you have to do, because it's only you that knows what you have to do. so your time is not wasted in any situation. Spend your time wisely. Like this is just something I just had to get this one off my chest. Like, spend your time wisely. Spend your time wisely, There's a lot you could do in 15 minutes. There's a lot you could do in 10 minutes. I'm going to tie it back to what I'm saying. If you're a person that, you sleep for 11 or 12 hours in a day, I can't lie, that's wild. You can't tell me you go to bed at 10 p.m. in the night and you wake up the next day at 11 a.m. Like, come on, like, you just wasted so much time on the clock. Like, that's wild to me. If you're waking up at 11 a.m., like, damn, the whole day is already gone by the time you wake. Spend your time wisely. Spend your time wisely with people you actually enjoy spending your time with. Time is something that shouldn't be taken for granted. You gotta wake up every single day. Thank God that He woke you up and gave you the mercy to actually have time. Don't waste it. On some real shit, I gotta get on the people that actually sleep past. No, I'm talking about the people who sleep till 11 a.m. in the morning. I know there's a group of people that actually sleep till 2 p.m. in a day, and their day is just getting started at 2 p.m. I could give you a pass. If you work in a nightclub or in a bar or those kinds of situations. But like, damn, 2 p.m. in the day is when your day starts. You're gonna start your day at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, in the midday. Shit, 2 p.m. is close to the fucking evening. 2 p.m. is close to the evening more than it's close to the 8 a.m. Don't tell me you wake up at 2 p.m. Bro. I'm going to talk about this on my next podcast. Maybe I'll bring that topic in, But anyways, it's Big Nathan. And I'm sure you enjoyed your time on the podcast. The Truth Car Podcast. The only podcast that you need to be tuning into. No, shit, that's no subliminal shot to any other niggas with podcasts. But, the Truth Car Podcast. This is the one podcast you need to be listening to if you actually want to catch all the gems, Make sure you tune in back on the next episode of the Truth Car Podcast. It's Big Nathan and we out.